Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Aric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
I'm Lexi and I love agriculture.
My name's Carter and I love eating.
My name's Chase and I love lifting weights.
My name's Summer and I love spending my parents' money.
I'm Dane and I love baseball.
Our show is about our blended, blessed, and always a mess life. And our hope is if you find yourself in the same situation we are in, that by sharing our story, all the fun and all the mess, the challenges we are experiencing, it will give you some inspirations, laughs, and community, knowing you are not alone in this mess.
We appreciate you spending time with us. Let's dive in.
Hey, kids. You know why I said that?
Why?
I don't know if I've ever told you this before.
Oh, here we go.
Kids are back in school this week. Everybody went back to school. And my first year at Mizzou, went to the University of Missouri. Mizzou. Okay, sorry. I had a statistics professor, and I did not do very well in the class, but he would start every single class and go, hey, kids, every time. And he wasn't an old professor. He was probably like 30 years old. Hey, kids. Every single time. So anyway.
So are we going to talk about statistics then?
No, not at all.
Because that last stat of 5 to 7 years is what it takes to blend was enough probably.
That's true. I would say. So if you have not heard the last 3 episodes, I would just say for me personally, I think probably for you, those are 3 of the favorite episodes we've ever done. So we visited with David Rowe, who is a longtime really good friend of our family, and I've been friends with him for about 20 years now, and he just shared about what it was like growing up in a blended family and how he struggled with that, but now he has such a great relationship with his bonus dad, Bill, and really his whole family, but that's really what we talked about because we were able to talk about how Chase and I would work through things. David was really a point of reference for me in that process, and then his parents for both of us. And then we've had Lynn Rauschon, a counselor from The Crossing, our church here in Columbia. She was just incredible.
So, yeah, very, very insightful on how to break the cycle of dysfunction.
So that was our
amazing.
First to be continued episode because Lynn had so many good things to share throughout that process. So we haven't caught you up on our life recently. And so we thought this episode we would just
be a lighter episode of just sharing.
Sharing is
caring.
What
has happened since, the last time we talked, it was our vacation when it was just you and I chatting. So yeah, we went on vacation, came back, and then, we had another first after vacation.
Yeah.
When you called the cops on Chase. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So I did. I called the cops on my bonus son. You wonder why we get along so well. I'm kidding. We laughed about it after the fact, but it was July 22nd. It was a Friday night. I had just gotten done talking to some of our other neighbors about how we were all sick of fireworks. We were done with the fireworks. We live in a small neighborhood. They shouldn't be shooting them off over homes. Now, if you're on a field, that's fine, but not in a neighborhood. And so what happened was I had gone for a long walk that evening just to clear my head. I was kind of in a bad mood a little bit. And about 4 miles, I'm coming up on the end of it, and I hear a firework go off.
You're still in a bad mood. The walk didn't help at this point.
Right. And then I hear a firework, and now I'm really in a bad mood because I just got done talking to neighbors. And I had told the neighbors, this is God laughing, that will never be my child because we don't even buy fireworks.
No, and we don't like, I don't like fireworks. I don't like being close to them. They scare me.
So I immediately am mad. I just call the cops. I'm like, it's July 22nd. We still got people shooting fireworks off. Kind of a get off my lawn moment, right? And as she's talking to me about it, I'm like, I don't know. I know it's some kids, yada, yada. She's like, well, can you tell me anything else? And about that time, I look up the street as I turn the corner, and there's Chase lighting off a firework and running out of the street. And you hear this loud explosion. She's like, oh, it sounds like it's closer. Can you tell me anything else? I'm like, no, unfortunately, I can't. Please, just come when you can. Thanks a lot. Hang up. Chase, get your little butt back down here right now. Comes in, he's like, what? I'm like, I just called the cops. He's, no, you didn't. Yes, I did.
Why?
You're shooting out fireworks. I didn't know it was you. Had I known it was you, I would have just came down and been like, stop.
This is why communication is so important, because if Aric would have communicated with me that he was very frustrated because he was hearing fireworks again, I would have said, might want to check on Chase because he just went outside to hang with a neighbor.
So that happened. We never did see the cops, so I don't know.
They're probably like, this guy's crazy.
I mean, that's possible, right? That is possible.
So, yeah, that was a first. That was a first.
I hope I don't have to call the cops on any of the other kids.
We had another first after we came back from vacation. We went on a little freeze, which we haven't done that before.
Spending
You wanna
freeze.
Talk about that?
Well, so it just felt like we had spent a lot of money.
It was flying out the door like nobody's business.
Yeah. So shut it down. We're not going to go out to eat. We're not buying anything. And the kids were like, they struggled a little bit. They did pretty good.
They did pretty good. It actually worked out great, honestly.
Yeah, we went through the end of July,
It was a
right?
great excuse to say no. Oh, no, we're on a freeze. We can't buy anything.
Yeah. So
We should do it again.
because we just got done with all the school stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
Back to school everything for 6 people.
I should have probably kept track of all the expenses. There's a lot of change happening with the dollar amounts that people want to spend on shoes.
Yeah.
Now they're all into
Expensive shoes.
The 4 that are home are all
You've
into
done
expensive.
that. Before me, I was just getting the cheapest thing I could get
Listen,
them
I
on
can't
sale.
help it if they have great style. I will take credit for that. They've upped their game.
For sure.
You're welcome.
So when
It's
you go
not free.
on another freeze because of all the school supplies and the shoes and all that, but they're all back in school as of this week. So 2 oldest girls, Hallie's a junior. Wow. And Lexi's a sophomore. And
Yeah,
they're
they
back
had
out of the
first.
house.
They both had first. So Lexi moved into an apartment with 2 girls, so not living the dorm life this year.
And her first morning there, she almost burned down the apartment.
Yeah. She got a new air fryer and forgot to take a piece of paper out of it. So set off the smoke alarms.
First morning, her roommates were thrilled.
I caught my hair on fire in college. So at least it wasn't. Yeah, actually twice.
Oh my gosh.
I never told you the
No,
story.
what'd you do?
So the way the dorm was, it was like a couch, but it was your bed. And so it was like a day bed, basically. But
Does that have
behind...
to do with a candle?
Yes, so behind... I have bad luck. Behind me was a little shelf connected to the edge of the bed, basically. And, I had a candle sitting there. And one time I was talking to my roommate, Melanie, and she's looking at me, and all of a sudden her eyes got big. She's like, oh, my God, your hair's on fire. But I had the candle lit behind me, and I just sat back with my hair. I did that twice. It stinks.
Honey, you've had a lot of bad luck with candles. Angie's had some small fires with candles. So, Chase and I go around the house, and we move things. We're like, that's too close to, it's literally hanging over the lit flame. This is why you have fires, honey.
I know, I'm aware, but I really love candles.
Yeah, but if our insurance agent's listening, we're going to need to up the coverage
I don't use candles anymore.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so she moved into an apartment, so she's loving that, I think. And then Hallie, that was the first. She moved in with her boyfriend.
They've been together 4 years now. And
so it's kind of fun, actually, to sit back and watch the kids turn into adults.
Why do you say that?
Well, because...
There are fun parts of it, yes. But I'm
not all
interested.
fun parts, but I think it's just fun to see them experience what happens when 2 people move in together.
Yes.
So, it was
now
cute.
I know where we're going.
because we had family dinner. We squeezed in family dinner last week. We only had the 2 older girls for like an hour. We're like, we're cool with that. Just come and eat. Let's do a family dinner, and then you guys can leave. So it was good, but it was quick. But it was just funny because they were talking about how they thought they had similar decorating styles, but then once they actually moved in, it was like, oh God, no, this is different.
It's not what they thought.
And so, Josh, that camo bedspread might have to go at some point. But it was just funny. It's just funny to watch them learn each other and learn that a Western style is different than cabin type of feel.
Well, not only that, but the funny part is that Josh at this point, and I would tell him this if he's sitting here, still thinks he's going to have a say in the decoration. As a man, you don't get that. So the fact the fact that he's still hanging on thinking he's going to win some of these battles, it's so funny to me because it's young kids and they're like, oh yeah. And I learned pretty early on as a dude, you're not really getting, there's certain battles you're not going to win, and that decorating is not one of those battles.
No, but I think everybody goes through that.
Well,
initially are well, we can do this together. And then it's like, but except that.
Yeah, it is cracking me up. Watching it from afar, I'm like, this is funny.
Oh, it is funny. So they're excited about that. And then Dane had his golden birthday.
12.
So a lot of people, your mom was one of them, like, what's a golden birthday? I'm not even sure my mom knew what it was. I'm like, I don't know. I think someone just made it up recently. But it's
I didn't know what it was till I met you 3 years ago.
Oh,
and now, yeah.
So Dane turned 12 on the 12th. So his birthday request was to have grandma's fried chicken, which you heard us talk about that on family vacation. So she could not say no and spent 4 hours frying 6 chickens for
so
family. Good. It was so good. So that was his one request, was to have grandma's fried chicken.
I mean, he had some other requests, but that was his.
He did. That was the main one.
For sure.
That was the main one. Yeah. So that was super fun to celebrate his birthday. We had to divide and conquer.
Story of our life. We divide and conquer.
Yes.
But we really had to do it last weekend.
Which Aric was super bummed.
I was. So I really wanted to go see Keith Urban last Friday night. I had really good seats. I haven't seen him in like 8-9 years. He's one of my all-time favorite artists. Really good seats. And all of a sudden, the kids all end up with things that weekend. Well, of course, nobody wanted to go to the concert with me.
Yeah. The boys, well, so we had 4 tickets, and we were going to take Chase and Dane because Carter had something. Summer had soccer in Kansas City, and those were the 2 left. And so we were just going to take them. Well, then they both end up having stuff. Dane had an early baseball game on Saturday, so he didn't really want to get home and sleep for a couple hours and have to go play baseball. And so I think it's interesting, though, because it ties into the sermon of being more of a giver, not a getter. And so you were super excited about getting the tickets, but then you had to turn around and be the giver and say, actually, we need to just not go because we have so much kids stuff and we just want to focus on them. So, yeah, we actually gave the tickets away, and
you got up at 4 a.m. to drive to Kansas to watch Summer play soccer at 7 a.m.
For the weekend, and you took Dane to baseball and then spent the whole weekend with the boys. So you guys had a good time. You did all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, I have really, I feel like I've had other dads ask me how I do those things. And sometimes I will do things one-on-one with the boys because it makes them feel special, right? Like they're getting that one-on-one dad time. But then sometimes, like this weekend, we were able to do a lot of things together that was really fun. So, we all went to the gym together. And they're getting to where, they really like that team aspect of doing the gym together. Sometimes they want to go alone, but we did that together. We go to the gym, then come home, and I made them kind of get dressed up a little bit. And took him downtown.
Carter.
Except Carter. We struggle with it. But
his dress-up version is different than what we...
Yeah. Took him downtown to get go eat at a place we've never been to. We talked about it, and so me and the boys did that. Then there's a video arcade game place around the corner. So we did that for like an hour, and it was fun. I mean, we just had a fun weekend together. Got up, went to church Sunday morning, and it was a really good sermon, as you alluded to a minute ago, that was more about giving. And when we left, we always talk to the kids. We've mentioned this before about what's one thing that you got from that. And they each had gotten multiple things from that sermon. I've been texted Pastor Dave after. I was like, my kids got multiple things from your sermon today. Normally they struggle to get one from anybody. So they really liked it a lot. So did that, spent the day together Sunday, waited on you and somebody at home, and then squeezed in a family dinner with everyone before the school week began. And I thought it was good because you're always preparing. I would say this, whether you are blended or whether it's just your own traditional family, Angie does a good job of preparing questions that we're going to talk about at dinner. So people, aren't just not paying attention at all, right? You have to engage at that point. You have to involve yourself in the convo. And so what did you ask?
Yeah, so I text the group prior to dinner and just said, okay, guys, here's a heads up. I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. But I want to know one thing that you're really excited about this week as they all were going back to school. And then one thing that you are afraid of or that you're, nervous about for the week. And so that gave them time to prepare. Some did, some didn't.
Yeah, some did better than others. Yeah.
But yeah, so then they just went around and just shared that. And we talked about school. But then we ended up talking a lot about just stuff that I had going on because I had a work trip. And I had shared with them that, I'm excited because it was in Chicago. And for some unknown reason, I had never been to Chicago.
Yeah, you're
I've been
a world
all
traveler,
over.
but you'd never been there.
Just never have been to Chicago. So I was excited about that. But then also nervous. And anytime, it was a leadership meeting. And anytime I'm in a situation where I feel like I really need to show up well, then that makes me nervous, putting pressure on myself type of thing. But that's a good nervous too. So we talked a lot about that and just working hard. And so it was a great conversation.
Well, and the other reason we do that too, it kind of goes back to the Take Back Your Family book where it talks about in there is that when you share things like that as a family, it gives you an opportunity to cheer each other on throughout the week, but also to maybe reach out and lend an ear to your sibling or a parent as the week goes on, because now you know what everybody's doing, right? You know, oh, we've talked about this at Sunday night dinner, and here's what so-and-so is excited about. Here's what they're worried about. And that way you can dive in deeper as a family together to do those things. So yeah, I like that you come up with the questions, and it was very time sensitive. And so that worked out good. We have had some learning lessons lately about taking photos of siblings. So, this is a thing that applies to all kids now that we didn't have growing up, and that's phones and social media. Phones and social media obviously could be good, could be bad. And so we'd had some instances where we've had some kids take pictures of another kid, and then they send it off to another kid through Snapchat, and it's not an approved photo.
Well, yeah, so it's not
everyone's
like
dressed. Yeah, it's not inappropriate. They
just maybe, maybe they just don't like the picture type of thing. And so our kids are becoming so close, right, that they all have the same friends on Snapchat. So, and the twins are 13, going to be 14 soon. They're starting to have the, boyfriend, girlfriend, or like people, right? And so what I'm finding is that this age and the environment that they're growing up in, that they are very, very sensitive about pictures, because you can so easily take one and blast it out to people. And then what is happening is then other people
Photoshop it. You can do all kinds of things.
People screenshot it, right? And then they send it out, or they send it back like, I found this picture of you. And then they're so fearful that people are going to make fun of them, or that they're going to send stuff around. So that's been happening, but we just, had a scenario where, it was sent to someone that Summer liked, and she thought a picture of her in a face mask was sent. And it's just a good opportunity to talk to the kids and remind them, this applies to any situation you could be in at school.
Because you're going to school this week. Don't
take
do it, yeah.
a picture of someone that they're not okay with, or haven't you almost need to ask for approval, I feel like, anymore, before you would send a picture. We never had this we did not grow up.
You might have had a Polaroid.
You had to develop the film.
You developed it, or if you had a Polaroid.
Didn't turn out.
No. So, this was not a problem that we had growing up. And we did see it a year or two ago.
Yeah, we run into it a couple times, but this time we had to really sit down and say, we really want to explain to you why this is not okay.
Because it was a couple of years ago, there was a fight at Carter's school. And so a bunch of the boys were taking Snapchats of it because
that's just what you do, right? You do it outside of school.
And you're just taking Snapchats, and then they get sent around. Well, all the boys that did that got in trouble. Carter got in trouble because of that. And so it's a teaching moment, especially with the three younger ones, to go, hey guys, you gotta think. And I'm with you. You almost have to ask permission before you take. And I use the example of before we put somebody on the radio, I have to ask their permission.
Right.
Can't just put them on. So same kind of principle when it comes to social media and taking photos and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a lesson, and I would say an awareness for us of gosh, this is definitely something that we never had to deal with in the past, but something to address and make sure all the kids are aware, okay, that's not going to happen. And we went back to what we have said before on this has to be a safe place for everybody. And I will not have kids worried that around the corner someone's going to take a picture of them, and send it to somebody. So we're kind of cracking down on that a little bit.
I don't think you know how many pictures of you I've taken.
Okay.
I'm just not sending them to people.
Now you've entered into creeper status. I'm being stalked by my husband.
That's a good problem to have.
I will call the cops next time.
Oh, okay. We did lose a little bit of busyness because Carter is on the injured list.
And what is injured on Carter?
Yeah, so this has happened. This has been going on for a while. So at the end of April last year, he was running track and playing baseball. Baseball is his number one sport. And so in track, they'd asked him to run hurdles. So he did it, and he came down over a hurdle. And when he landed with his leg, he felt like maybe he pulled his hamstring. It was really bothering him. So he quit running track for the rest of the season, and then he nursed it through the last couple of weeks of baseball. Then he gave it a couple weeks off, started right back in June with baseball, football, basketball, all the practices and things that he has to do in June. Well, then went to a rehabilitation place for about 6 weeks, and it didn't get much better. Started football practice in August, didn't get better. And so we took him to get an x-ray. In the x-ray, they thought maybe he had torn the hamstring off the bone. Something didn't look right. So I take him back the next week for an MRI. And after the MRI, get a call. It's not the hamstring. That was good. That's good. Avoided a surgery that way. Or PRP shots, probably what it would have been. But Carter's on 6 weeks of inactivity because he has a stress fracture in his ischial tuberosity.
Which is...
I said to the doctor, I go, spell it, tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And he pulled up the MRI. Basically, Carter cracked his butt. Okay? Carter's got a stress fracture in his backside. So we're constantly like, get your broke in here, boy.
Yeah.
Get your broke butt in here.
So yeah, it saved us a little bit of running. He was disappointed.
Yeah, because he'd not played football before. He was going to start on defense, and now he's missing like the first 4 to 6 weeks until they can go back and reevaluate and things like that. But we have so many things right now because Summer's back in soccer, Dane's back in baseball. They both have tournaments on the weekends. And so for Carter to not have Friday night football, bad for him, but it did help us a little bit on the busy scale for sure. So here's what I was thinking with Carter having the broken backside. Because he can lift weights, his upper body. He can't do anything with his lower body right now. I mean, he's walking, but he's having to rest it so that he can get back to playing basketball and all those things in the winter. He's got some time on his hands right now, right? I mean, he can't play. Probably his turn to put him on the podcast.
I love it.
Summer and Carter have not been on the podcast. They don't really want to be on the podcast. And we will not force them to be, right?
No.
We just won't. But I do think that to have Carter on here would be interesting because he's always been the quiet one because Lexi has always answered for him. Even when we dropped him off the apartment and got everything dropped off, I asked the boys, like, how'd that feel? And Carter said, kind of weird. It was like watching my mom move out. Because when their mom and I got divorced, Lexi was 4 and Carter was 1. So for Carter's entire life, Lexi's been the only stable thing at every house he's ever been to. I didn't think about that. So her leaving and moving into an apartment, that's kind of weird for Carter. Now at the same time, that's a trend.
Dane too.
Dane too. Dane was upset about it because they're close. But so with that being said, now Carter's transitioning into the current leader of the crew here at home, because the older girls are gone. So Carter's transitioning into a leadership role. When Carter decides he wants to talk, funny kid.
Very funny.
I mean, hilarious kid.
Witty.
But he can get
dry wit.
Yeah. But he doesn't like to share feelings.
Yeah.
That's what we've talked about on the podcast. I just bury him way down. And so I would like to visit with him about some of these things and perhaps breaking the backside is how we get that to go. I don't know.
You sit your cracked ass down here and we're going to talk.
Baby got back. Yeah, baby. I guess that's not really what it is, but
no.
Yeah. I don't know any cracked ass songs.
I don't either.
So, last but not least, what we did we snuck in a date weekend, which is
and it was super fun and it was overdue. We needed it.
I do like you.
You do?
I enjoy time with you.
You like hanging out with me?
Faux show. So we started off on Friday with our neighbors and Angie's best friend, Amber, and her husband, Adam, and we went golfing.
Well, we had gift cards from our wedding, which, I mean, that tells you
a year and a half ago.
How hard it is.
They had expired, so we had to get the approval to use them.
They let us use them, thanks, Dan. And, we played golf, but that's how hard it is for us to find time.
Yeah.
And also shows how often I play golf because 30 minutes in, I had a damn blister on my thumb from where I was swinging the golf club.
Yeah, and then after
But the ladies dominated, and then we got tired because we figured I'm
hole 11, the girls
about
quit.
a 9-hole type of person. Then I'm done. I just want to ride around the golf cart.
Yeah, but when you guys quit, then me and Adam went head to head. We actually played our best golf when we weren't counting on you to help out. So.
Right.
So that was a super fun evening. And then got up the next day, and I had wanted to go to a Cardinals baseball game with you because we've taken the kids. You and I have never gone. Cardinals baseball is my favorite thing. So get the seats.
I'll sacrifice and go.
Thank you. You got a nice hotel downtown. But then Summer did have soccer that afternoon in St. Louis. So obviously we try to always go anyway. So we first go watch Summer play soccer. And they had a great game, won. And then we headed downtown for the rest of the day. We had a great dinner.
And I, for the first time, another first. We're talking about lots of firsts on this one. I wore a Cardinals jersey.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am not the type of person that wears the logoed sports stuff.
She doesn't. We go to Mizzou games. She'll wear black and gold, but not a Mizzou.
I mean, I'll wear a red shirt to a Cardinals game like I did this week when I went to the game.
She'll go to a St. Louis Blues game. She'll wear blue, but she's blue and yellow. She's not wearing anything apparel.
They negotiated with me, the kids and Aric, to one time wear a jersey. So I did do that for you.
You were beautiful.
Thank you.
I really appreciated it. So a good game. Cardinals lost, but it was a good game. And then brunch the next day. That was awesome.
Great brunch place we found in St. Louis.
BLTs, breakfast, lunch, and tacos. What a great name.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then we came home. What did we do?
We got ready for Dane's golden birthday. That was the next day.
Oh, yeah.
So we stopped on the way at the party store and got all kinds of Cardinal party stuff for Dane. Came home, got all that ready, rest of his presents wrapped. And it was just a great date weekend. Nice. And they are necessary. I don't care what your relationship is. If you don't take the time, set the time aside to spend it with your significant other. You won't do it because you get too busy. But it's great to reconnect and remember why we started this blended family to begin with.
And then we do have a little getaway this weekend, but we can't share what it is.
No.
So we'll share at some point.
Yeah.
Our little getaway.
Quick little getaway this weekend, and then back to, because we've been busy at work and getting kids back into school, just like you are in that regard. Just like if you're listening, you're probably doing the same things. Cry me a river, build me a bridge, and get over it. Back to work, right? That's really what it is. So, but yeah, that is what we have been up to. I guess my hope would be that maybe we can get Carter on the podcast here pretty soon, maybe summer. She would also be hilarious if she decided she wanted to be on the podcast, because
she would do it for Lulu.
Oh,
I bet if you said, I'll give you a Lulu gift card if you get on the podcast, she'd be like, sign me up. I'll talk all day long.
Why don't I just get her on without the Lulu? We're trying to get on a freeze.
Oh, my God, I forgot. We're on a freeze.
We're back on a freeze.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Angela.
I like to shop.
I know. You're good at it.
I am a good little shopper. I hyperachieve at shopping.
She's a hyperachiever. You and Summer both. So, yeah, that's what we've been doing. So, yeah, kind of just a little bit about us. We kind of decided, every probably 4 to 6 weeks, we'll try to recap what's been going on in our family. Otherwise, you kind of lose touch with what all the kids are doing. It is important when we blend this family that we know what everybody is up to. So, everyone back in school.
Yeah, a quick shout out to Lynn, though. We did steal her favorite family tradition that she shared with us on the last episode.
For Dane's birthday.
For birthdays, each person goes around and shares what their favorite thing is about that person. And so we did that at Dane's birthday party, and it was really cool to hear from my parents, from your mom, and just siblings. And it was super thoughtful what everybody came up with. So steal it. It's a great family tradition.
Highly recommend the Roush family tradition in that regard. It was really, really good. Have a great week. We really do appreciate you guys listening to Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. The feedback we've been getting has been really good. I had lunch with a friend the other day who listened to the podcast with David Rowe, and he wanted to talk about it because that's what he's going through. And so we do like when you reach out, because that's why we started doing the podcast, was if we could help one person, one family find a way through something, then that was the rewarding part for us. And so it's been really good.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great week. God bless.
Thank you for listening to Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at blendedblessedalwaysamess.com.
Reach out to us on any of our social channels. We would love to hear from you. Have a great week.